G'day, it's Kareem. Welcome to Does It Matter? Some of the most powerful words that have ever been said and ever will be said are, I don't know. I'm not sure. I need to think about that. I'm not certain. That's weird. That's odd. I wasn't expecting that. I'm confused. So on and so on. Uncertainty and doubt are fundamental to science, and they're fundamental to critical thinking. Not being sure is cool. Not knowing is awesome, because it means you have an opportunity to learn, to grow, to discover new territory, new horizons. Human beings have always been prone to absolutism and binary thinking and all the things that shut us down and force us into tribal estates and polarities and this is this and this is that and that's it, boom. We're all prone to it. But we have this thing called curiosity, a sense of humor, curiosity, and the ability to speculate rigorously. And what I mean by that is not just to fantasize wildly, but fantasize within what we understand is reality. To fantasize realistically, but broadly. If you can speculate intelligently, if you can imagine what might be other than what you understand, if you can doubt even what you understand, just in case you didn't get it right, or the person who conveyed it to you didn't get it right for every circumstance. If you can hold on to a slippery reality rather than trying to make it into a nice, convenient, easy box shape to support, the world becomes a very different place to look at. A more confusing place, but also a place where the possibilities to learn, to understand, to grow are much, much greater. Most powerful words ever are the expressions of doubt, the expressions of ignorance. I do not know. I do not understand. I am not sure. And even if I do think I understand, I still am open to any possible caveats that might change, at least circumstantially, when something I think is true works and when it doesn't work. It's inherently looking at the universe in a more humble way, in a way that appreciates the enormous complexity of what we find ourselves in. Being alive is complex beyond belief. Being alive in a universe that's even more complex than we are is another order of magnitude of complexity. And you can put your head in the sand like an ostrich and pretend that doesn't exist, but that won't change the fact. You can hide in an ideology or in an absolutist approach to religion. And I'm not against religion. I'm an atheist myself. I don't feel the need for it. Having said that, I know a lot of very rigorous and good critical thinkers who do hold religious beliefs. I have no problem with that. Provided that whatever you believe doesn't constrain your ability to think beyond what you believe. That's the key. I believe in physics. Do I believe that the standard model is the be-all and end-all? I think it's a very good model. It's showing its cracks and its age at the moment in physics. But I'm open to anything that knocks it down and replaces it with something better. And if you're not open to your ideas being challenged, if you're not open to saying, oh, holy cow, in this circumstance, I really don't know if what I think is going to work. If what I believe in that's bedrock to my thinking, I don't know if it applies here. Then you can't grow. You can't be more than all what you are already. Now, an awful lot of people go, oh, I don't want to be more. Okay, pass me another beer. I don't want to be more. Fuck off. I'm enjoying my life as it is. And for those people, hey, no worries. Cheers, brother. Okay, you do you, and I'll do me. But for those people who want to understand reality, who want to get a better grasp on this slippery thing called existence, and like mystery, enjoy the process of imagination and lateralism and enjoy rigorous critical analysis. For those of us that want to really understand the wonder that is the existence that we live in, the universe we live in, and what we are, the miracles of evolution that we are, then you have to have a fundamental doubt built into you, skepticism. And when I find myself getting certain, which is way too often, I'm prone to that. Um, Personality-wise, I've got a bit of a crusader thing going. I have causes. I've always been an activist, so I'm prone to causes. Okay, and I grew up in a very religious home. So, yeah, it's kind of bred into me, and probably genetically as well, biologically. We're synthesis of social conditioning and biology. But you can rise above that. That doesn't have to delineate who you become and what you become, the kind of thinker that you become. And I'm stressing constantly to go, well, if I'm so certain about something, maybe I should hack at it a bit more, tap away at it, poke it, prod it, hit it, test it, squeeze it, and see what happens. And if we can't do that with our beliefs, if we can't express doubt about even the things that we are profoundly committed to, then that's a limitation. And it's a limitation that can one day come back to bite us in the ass, because everything has limitations. There are parameters for everything. There are limits, hard limits to everything, including physics. And when we hit those limits, we need to be able to say, I don't know. I'm not sure what to do now. I'm not sure how to go here. I think an awful lot of mental illness, I think an awful lot of emotional pain and suffering, unnecessary suffering, comes from the refusal to acknowledge and incorporate doubt, healthy skepticism and doubt. I'm not talking about cynical, flat earth, run around, conspiracy-minded nutbaggery, okay? This is not for tinfoil hats, okay? I'm talking about sober, intelligent, mature analysis of the facts, and a willingness to embrace a reality that doesn't sit very well with what you'd like, what you want, what you hope for. It's really important. Our fears can drive us as much as anything else. I know a lot of people have some pretty crazy beliefs based on what they fear. They're so afraid of something that they're certain it's going to happen, and they're living in terror of, before it used to be 212, living in terror of the next great apocalypse. Even real things like climate change, like environmental breakdown, the COVID and the development of more plagues, of a fungus mold that could wipe out half our food. That's actually a very real issue for biologists. You can't live in fear of these things eternally. You can't allow them to shape every other aspect of your existence. You've got to be able to hold it in balance, to the negative to the positive, the benign to the not so benign or malevolent. You've got to be able to hold those in balance. Life is balance. And I believe, very much so, that doubt, that uncertainty, willing to be uncertain. I'm okay with not knowing sometimes. I hate it, actually, personally. I don't like not knowing, but I'm still okay with it, because not knowing means I've got something more to learn. The downside is, it's frustrating. The upside is there's good shit to come, okay? Eventually, if I live long enough, I'll get to see that stuff unfold, and I'll be like, oh, that's awesome. But I can't have that without doubt. I can't have that without a willingness to dump my beliefs, at least contextually, in the things I believe that worked all the time. Maybe they don't work all the time. Maybe they only work sometimes. Maybe they only work in certain circumstances and not in others. Maybe there's rare circumstances where they don't work, such as in physics. There are always exceptions, even in physics, which is the hard rule set of the universe for existence. And even then there are exceptions. So keeping in mind that, we're constantly being surprised, constantly. Doesn't that make sense? If you're getting surprised, if surprises happen, the unexpected happens often enough, that we probably need to be a little more open to not knowing. And it would make us not only have a happier life, a more enjoyable, wondrous life, and we'd develop more resilience in being able to go, I'm not quite sure, but I think I'll be okay. That stoic attitude but it would also open us up to new ideas, to fresh ideas, to different ways of doing things. It would allow us to be ourselves and let others be themselves. You do you, I do me. It would allow us more of that as well. Less of a polarized world and less of a tendency, which we all have, to jump into a tribe. Oh, these guys make me feel good. The things they just say make me feel good. I'm going to go with that. Not everything they say is true. Even if they're scientists, they're going to be wrong sometimes. They're going to get ripped apart in peer review eventually. Okay? Nothing is ever monolithic. Nothing is ever completely true. And once you realize that, it makes the universe somewhat, in some ways, a little more of a scary place. You realize how tenuous our position is at times. Be cool with that. There's nothing you can do. What, denying it, hiding your head in the sand, pretending that you'll be rescued by some divine 7th Cavalry is going to make you feel better? Not really. Not really. All you're doing is you're putting curtains on the broken window. The window's broken. The air's coming in. The curtains will only mitigate it a little bit. Won't stop the reality at all. Won't stop the rain coming in, the lightning coming in, the snow. It's all going to come in. You're just hiding from that reality. Better to accept it. And then learn ways of fixing the window maybe one day. Okay? Creating a different kind of universe through science and technology, through reason. But also, not just that, get used to the cold. Make yourself stronger. Rug up. There are so many ways in which we can approach that analogy, and it is only an analogy, but that analogy to that, curtains over the broken window. Okay? Pull the curtains back. Accept it. Or fix the window. Okay? Or do something entirely different that I haven't even thought of. Okay? The reality is that without doubt, that's not a possibility. You're going to just double down and go, I'm not covered in snow. There's no snow. The window is fine. God will rescue me. My ideology will save me. Means of production, blah, 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 whatever it is. And then you're lost. You're lost. You don't want to be lost. I'd rather be lost in doubt than lost in denial. Okay? If I'm going to choose between doubt and denial, give me doubt any day. Okay? It's cool. It's okay not to know. Cheers, guys.